Hey guys, so today I wanted to make a video to show you how to change the front camera in the iPhone SE. So first of all, you want to make sure that your phone is powered off. I wanted to go over some of the tools we're going to be using today. This is a pentalobe or torx screwdriver, size 0. And we're going to need that for removing the screws in the bottom of the phone. This is a Phillips screwdriver size 000 that we're going to need for removing the internal screws. This is a suction cup tool that we're going to be using to opening up the phone. I'll show you how that works in just a bit. If you don't have one of these suction cup tools like this, you can also use a small little suction cup like this. I'll include a link in the video description for any tools that I'm going to be using today during this process, or any parts that I'm going to be replacing. Anything that I think might be helpful to you, I'll include links in the video description, so check them out there. So first of all, what we're going to do is use our pentalobe or torx screwdriver, and we're going to remove these two screws in the bottom of the phone right here by the charging port. So go ahead and remove those screws. So next what I want to do, if you're going to use a suction cup tool like this, what you would want to do is you want to get it just above the home button like this. You don't want to go over top of the home button because it doesn't suction very well. You want to go just over top and you want to press this down so it gets a seal like this, and then you can simply pry on the handle here and the screen starts separating here, as you can see. So if you don't have one of those tools and you have a suction cup tool like this, I would recommend using a suction tool. It's a lot easier. You can just press down, same thing, get a nice seal on there. Then you can start pulling up on this, and you can see it's starting to separate here a little bit. So what I would recommend is having something like a plastic pry tool or something, and very carefully right here above the headphone jack there's a notch where you can get right in there, and just carefully at the same time while you're pulling up on the suction tool, you can just carefully work your way across here and see how that's starting to separate there, and see the notch I'm talking about right here. There's a notch there where you can get a start on it. Then you don't want to pull very far at all because there's a little cable in here for the Touch ID that we need to disconnect first. Remove your suction tool at this point. Then I'll see that little cable in here I'm talking about. You don't want to stretch it too tight or you'll tear it and you'll lose the function for the Touch ID, so we don't want to do that. It's a little hard to show it, but this is the clip right here that we need to remove. So I'm just going to sneak in here with like a tweezers or something and just pop that out of there. It's just a little clip like this. You can pop it out of there. Then also, I would use something plastic, nothing metal for this part. You want to go in and you want to disconnect that connector right there. And then it pops loose like that. Then once that's loose, we can go ahead and pry this up all the way. Now don't go past the 90 degrees at this point. Then what we want to do is use our Phillips screwdriver, size 000, and we're going to remove these 4 screws in this shield right here. Also, make sure you keep these screws in the right order when you take them out so you know how they go back together. So then grab this shield, set it off to the side with your screws. Then don't use anything metallic for this. I would recommend using something plastic or your fingernails or something. Let's go ahead and start removing these connectors, starting with the one that's on top, which is this one. Then next the one right underneath that, and next the back one there. There's 3 different connectors that we need to remove. These 3. Then the whole LCD screen comes out just like that. Next we'll want to use our Phillips screwdriver and remove these 2 screws right here in this metal plate. So next, to get this plate out of here, what we need to do is slide it sideways this way. You need to kind of press down a little bit sometimes and slide it straight over, and then it comes right off. Next you can grab your earpiece speaker out of here. It's just sitting on top like that. So next, to change the front camera right here, where I would start is I'm going to use something thin like a tweezers like this. We have to go underneath these gold contacts here, slide under there that has a strong adhesive under it. Then this lifts right out of there. Then as we pull this back, this is stuck down right here. Sometimes it comes off kind of hard, sometimes it pops right up like this did. Then another thing to watch here is this microphone, this gold part. We need to pop that out of the rubber part that's holding it. So next we have to peel this all the way back, this copper tape here. You have to carefully peel it back, and then the whole part comes right out like that. So to reinstall your new front camera, what you would do is, if your new part doesn't come with this part here, it's not a big deal, I think it's just something to ground it. So sometimes these front cameras don't come with this, but what you would do is, first of all, you would stick this down, just line it up kind of square in that corner right there. So next you want to reinstall this microphone right here. So you want to press it down in that rubber right there where it goes. And next, this is kind of hard to show, but this little part here that sticks in here, we need to set it right down in that hole right there below this screw. So now that that's pressed down, we can get the front camera pushed down in where it goes, and then we can refasten this here gold contact part. 2 pegs right there that it slips over. You can press down. Next you want to grab the earpiece speaker and set it down on top of there. Next we want to grab our shield. This little part here sticks that way. This can be a little tricky. You need to get this corner down in and this corner down in and slide that way a little bit at the same time. Then you can see when your screw holes line up. So go ahead and put your 2 screws back in here. Next we want to grab our screen and we want to set it down on here Let's start by reconnecting this first connector right here. You can kind of hear it and feel it snap in. And we want to do them in order, the way that they're stacked. So let's go ahead and reconnect this connector right there. And then we want to reconnect this one right over here. Now while holding the screen at a 90 degrees still, don't pull it too far back so you don't strain the connectors too much. We want to grab our shield and set it down in here. So while still holding the screen with one hand, we need to get these screws in here to put this shield back on. So next, now we've got all our screws in the plate right here. What we need to do is carefully set this screen down all the way. And what we're going to attempt to do is reach in here and grab this connector right here. Don't pull too hard. We're going to kind of set this off to the side like this. And we're going to carefully try to reconnect this. There's just enough slack in this cable that we can reconnect this right here. Then also what we need to do is just put this retainer clip on here to hold this connector down in place. The two holes go this way and the one piece goes this way. The little tongue goes down. And you can just push that down and that snaps right in there. Next, what we want to do, we don't want to pull this up too far so that this cable pulls off again. But what we want to do is try to get this top in first like this while it's still held at an angle like this. And then what we can do is just carefully set this down. As long as the top stays in tight like that, we can just set this down and start pressing down all the way down. As you can see, that's in all the way there. Then we want to put our screws back in the bottom here. You can do this with your fingers if you want. I'm just using a tweezer so it's easy to see and so it's easy to grab. Then we want to take our pentalobe screwdriver, put these screws back in. Then we want to power on our device, and as soon as it comes up, we know everything's working and you're all set. Thanks for watching.